From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome into this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. Still talking a good bit of baseball, heading into Friday's Oxford Regional, Ole Miss, Illinois, Clemson, and Jacksonville State. 3 and 7 o'clock game times for that one. I saw some SEC teams playing the early game. Ole Miss will be the late game, 7 o'clock on Friday, against the Gamecocks out of the Ohio Valley Conference. So we'll touch on that and more today on a show that's brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon and Blue Sky there on Highway 6 West. Lunch special is $4.99, 2 sides of bread, 32-ounce drink, ribs. Stop by, pick them up, call ahead. They'll be waiting on you if you would so like. Also, the Speed Pass Plus app, the mobile rewards program. Plenty of ways to save money. Just ask them when you head in the convenience store there at the Blue Sky. Pick up a daiquiri, too. It is another scorcher outside today. Plenty of flavors at as cheap as $3.99 for those daiquiris there at the Oxford Exxon. Again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. That's the number. You call it. You ask for Corey. You tell Corey what Ford you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's that simple. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. It's kind of up to you. And if you're in the market for a vehicle, you sort of owe it to yourself to call Corey, get a quote. Even if you're not sold that you want a Ford, even if you're not convinced that you're in the car market, if you think you might be soon, something's going on with your vehicle, you think you got something going on, call, get a quote. At the very least, it's a starting line for you moving forward. It's probably going to intrigue you and have you doing what I and many others have done, and that's get into a Clark Ford from Clark Ford in Amory, 662-257-1900. Tell Corey at the end of your deal that you heard about Clark Ford on the podcast, and you'll save $500.
So the only really news coming out yesterday as far as the Oxford Regional is concerned, that Illinois and Clemson have set their starters for the opener on Friday, and both are holding their aces, the 2 and the 3 seed, holding their best pitchers for a potential matchup with Ole Miss on Saturday. So right-handed pitcher Ty Weber going for Illinois, and then left-handed pitcher Jacob Hennessy, a guy that was in the rotation at times in the Clemson rotation over the course of his career, but it's been a bullpen arm for much of the season. He is starting the opener, and what that is doing is that leaves, depending on what happens in that game, Andy Fisher for Illinois, their ace, or Matt Clark for Clemson going on Saturday. You see this a good bit. I don't recall the last time I remember the 2 and the 3 both holding. This is a little unorthodox, but, you know, it's that deal we always come back to. And, I mean, it's kind of cliche. It's kind of broken record. But I really give credit to both staffs, coaching staffs, because going 1-1, 1-2, 2-1, whatever, the goal is to go 2-0 and to win the regional. If you don't win the regional, it doesn't really matter what you do in the regional. Nobody goes, well, you know, he finished second, so that's really a big deal. So do whatever it is that gives you a best chance to win. And I think both these guys think that, hey, if the number 2 can't beat Clemson or can't beat Illinois, he's probably not going to beat Ole Miss.
There's 1 regional winner and 3 regional losers. Period. There's no difference between finishing in second place and in fourth place. So it's kind of like recruiting. You either win or you lose. So if you're Clemson or if you're Illinois, the path to winning is to go 2-0. And to win that second game, you need your best guy. Because what you need to win the regional is chaos, in all likelihood. Not always, but in all likelihood. It's very rare. I know it happened last year in Oxford, but it's pretty rare, I'm guessing, that a team that's not the host comes out of the loser's bracket to win the regional. I know it happens, but it doesn't happen much. So if you're Illinois or Clemson, the best route for you is to roll the dice against each other on Friday. Save your best guy for presumably Ole Miss on Saturday. And if you get lucky and it's Jacksonville State, well, even bully for you. But you get your best against Ole Miss on Saturday. And then if you can pull it off, well, now you benefit from the obvious, which is now you just have to win 1 game. And you're going to get a couple of chances with, the back end of Ole Miss's rotation. So makes a lot of sense. I'm surprised more coaches don't do it. It's
a fear. It's the, hey, if I do the normal thing and I lose, nobody's going to second guess me. Whereas if I do the odd thing and lose, I'm going to get second guessed.
Yeah, but it's smart, really, because you're either winning the regional or you're not winning the regional. I mean, can you imagine if Ole Miss said, "Hey, we finished second in our regional last year"? I mean, burn the town down. I mean, you either win it or you lose it. It's that simple. There's 4 teams and one's going to win. It's like when you go to the NCAA basketball tournament. There's these pods of 4. Someone survives it and moves to the next pod. So someone's going to survive it and move to the pod, and I think they're doing the right thing. I think if you're Illinois and Clemson, reality is if you're Clemson, you're playing with house money. No one expects you to win the regional. If you're Illinois, you're playing with house money. No one expects you to win the regional. Gamble a little.
Yeah, just quick look at these guys for a second, just depending on whoever it is Ole Miss does run into. Andy Fisher for Illinois. He's 7-1 on the season. Got a 2.57 ERA, a 2.06 batting average against, and then he has 89 strikeouts and 35 walks in 94.2 innings. He started every single weekend for the Illini. And then for Clemson, Matt Clark, he's been their unquestioned ace. He almost threw a no-hitter against Louisville in the ACC tournament. He took a perfect game into the 8th inning. He took a no-hitter into the 9th inning before he gave up, I think, a home run there at one point. But Clark has thrown 69 innings this year, so he's pretty well rested. They have not burned him up at all. A 193 batting average against, and he has 59 strikeouts and 20 walks. So Clemson has a lot more left-handed bullpen options. I think on paper, if you're just going, hey, who do you want to play? You want to play Illinois? I think that they haven't been through an ACC schedule, an SEC schedule. They don't have a lot of left-handers on the pitching staff. And frankly, they haven't been to a regional since 2015. I think they played Vanderbilt that year. They haven't been in these kind of environments. I mean, they're going to be a little more shell-shocked than some of the other teams. So if you just made me pick, I think that the Illini is the better draw for Ole Miss, given some matchup things as you kind of move forward here. But, I mean, Ole Miss obviously just take care of Jacksonville State. And then, I mean, I have not heard. We'll ask tomorrow. I would assume that Mike Bianco is going to roll Will Etheridge out there on Friday, and then he's going to throw Doug Nikhazy on Saturday. And there's been nothing about Nikhazy as a freshman to give you any pause as far as his demeanor or what he's going to be like on Saturday. In the best way possible, he seems to not have much of a care in the world out there.
Yeah, Nikhazy's not going to be impacted by what's going on in the stands or with all the angst or whatever. It's just, you can tell that's not the way he's wired.
Just hand me the ball. I'll go throw it.
Yeah, I'm really jealous of people like that. I get more like that every day of my life, but I wish I could have been like that at his age.
Gray Kessinger has been the best player on this team this year. Cooper Johnson's the most improved player right there. Zabowski had a good year. Doug Nikhazy's the most important player on this team this year, no doubt. Completely the way he stabilized the rotation in a way that on the second day, you've got a freshman where you're not worried about it now that you get to postseason play.
Oh, he's their ace. He's their best pitcher. I mean, Ole Miss is holding its ace for Saturday if Nikhazy goes Saturday. I mean, I know that's – people are going to take that as an insult at Etheridge. It's not meant as one. It's just that if you told me – and look, you've covered them a lot more than I have. I haven't covered them at all. I've probably watched parts of 4 games. But if you told me that I could have one guy in one game, that's who I want. Because he just doesn't get phased. I just don't think he cares. He's emotional. Guys feed off of him. But he doesn't get rattled. He's like, Bianco came out to talk to him the other day. I can't remember who Ole Miss was playing. It was on, and he just kind of shook his head at him like, yeah, whatever. And he's looking at him square in the eye, but you can tell it's just he's in his own deal. He's not really. He's just his own guy. He's not going to get out there. There's going to be tons of people out there Saturday, and if it's a real close game, or if Ole Miss is down a run or something, and there's going to be lots of anxiety in the stadium and stuff, and he's just not going to get rattled by that. He's just going to do his thing.
Yeah, he's perfect for Saturday. Even if you were thinking about flipping, I wouldn't flip. I would want him out there on day 2.
Here's a question: if Ole Miss loses Friday night, do you hold Nikhazy for later in the regional, knowing that you're going to have bigger games?
No, because you're playing a team that has held their ace.
Yeah,
you're playing a Power 5 team that has held its ace. You just at that point, you got to run through it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just it's just no, let's go. I mean, at that point, it's the same mindset as Hoover. You're waking up on Thursday morning knowing you got to get to Sunday. So now you mean so it's like that when Nikhazy threw Wednesday or whatever day it was against A&M, and it's you got DOS access, so let's run it through and you got to beat him, and then you move on, and you go from there. So. No, I wouldn't think about that. And I don't. I mean, I think Mike has a very easy decision here, and this gets overplayed so much because Mike has held his ace twice, unless I'm missing something, in 19 seasons. He did it in 2004, and everybody goes, "See, it didn't work." It did work. Stephen Head got beat 1-0. That was on the offense. That was not on Stephen Head because they held Mark Holloman. Grady Henchman, a kid from Western Kentucky, threw the game of his life, and it just fell that way. And then in 13, he held Bobby Wall against William and Mary, and that team was not very good. That team had no chance to win the regional if Bobby Wall did not throw against North Carolina State on day 2. They end up beating Binghamton and then losing to William and Mary the next day because it had no pitching. In 12 and 13, Ole Miss tried to win regionals with essentially 2 pitchers, Bobby Wall and Mike Myers. And those are 2 pretty dang good pitchers, but it takes more than 2. So Mike has made the correct decisions on that almost every time. I mean, even in 2009 in the Super Regional, he threw Phillip Irwin in Game 1 because Pomerantz had thrown 105 pitches or whatever it was against Western Kentucky on Monday of that week. Now, I would have contemplated holding Drew to Game 3 that year, but nonetheless, either way. I mean, I think that people like talking about, are you holding or are you not holding? But for the most part, the best team gets through to 2-0. I mean, I know things get funky after that, but typically, if you're going to get to 2-0, you're just going to get to 2-0. And I think that a lot of times the hold, not hold decision is very overplayed. I think they've made a pretty good call on that most seasons. So.
Yeah.
And Jacksonville State's got a good arm. I mean, you're going to play well on Friday. I mean, you should win. You're better than Jacksonville State. If you can't beat Jacksonville State on Friday, you probably weren't getting through the regional. But, I mean, they are a top 100 team. They've won some SEC games. The Garrett kid's pretty good. I mean, got to play, but no, I think this is an easy deal for Ole Miss. I don't even think this is something that's given Mike much pause whatsoever as he moves forward.
No, you're right. Everybody that's in the tournament's in it for a reason.
Well, but you can run into the team that's bad and just won a conference like Quinnipiac or somebody, but I mean they're legitimate. It's a good team.
For the most part, everybody that's in the tournament's a good team. There's some piece about them that makes them good. And so Jacksonville State's on a roll, and they have a strong Friday arm, and they've got nothing to lose. If you're Ole Miss, you just have to – I mean, look, this team was kind of built for this year, for last year and this year. Get another shot at it. I mean, that's the bottom line, is that for the better part of a year, the whole talk was about get another regional back in Oxford and redeem themselves. And so here we are. It's their opportunity, and it's a good field, but it's not a stacked field. It's not the worst field in the world. It's a region. I said this yesterday. I'll say it again today. It's a regional Ole Miss should win.
I talked to, I guess media-wise, we talked to Dillard and Zabowski on Monday, and guys very prominent in that Tennessee Tech series last year, guys that potentially are playing their last games at Swayze Field. It feels like, and I asked Thomas this, and he kind of agreed, they've been waiting all year to get back to right now.
Yeah.
For all the stuff, it was okay. We can only redeem ourselves in June, and I'm not gonna just go crazy on it. Not gonna let it impact you daily or just create your emotions. But this is what we've been waiting on, and by getting a regional, they served their purpose. They succeeded. The regular season was a success. So now there should be a collective breath of that was kind of crazy, and that was a roller coaster, and oh my God, but we're here. It's all good now. Just go beat these 3 teams, and you redeem yourself. You wipe away what happened last season. I mean, as bad as Black Monday was, I don't know why we still keep calling it that, but we do. As bad as Black Monday was, you're right here. And they have the opportunity as the clear best team in a 4-team field, and they can. It's not about legacies, but they can. They can repair and fix their legacy this weekend. So,
yeah, no, it's exactly right. It's what did we hear last year? I mean, immediately after that Monday sweep of
when Tennessee Tech won 2.
Yeah, sorry. Immediately when that happened, we saw all the mourning and the gnashing of teeth and stuff. And I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm just being honest. And then after people kind of rebounded a little, they said next season doesn't start until the regional round. I mean, I heard a lot of people say that. And I'm not dialed in around town. I'm not a guy that covers the program. I mean, I'm not. I mean, so if I heard it 20 times, you probably heard it 20,000 times. The season starts in the regional round. And that's not really how it works, but I get it. So here we are. This weekend will define this season. It's not fair. It's silly because baseball's a weird game where weird things happen all the time. And on any given day, a team can beat any team. But this team is going to be defined by what happens this weekend. So the Vanderbilt game the other day, it didn't matter. Especially didn't matter once you found out that they were hosting a regional. It didn't matter. It didn't matter whether they took home the little glass trophy. I still miss the Black Pyramid. It didn't matter whether they took that home or not. It just doesn't matter. And it won't. And if they win the regional, they really won't be defined by what happens in a super regional. If they win the regional, they went further. They redeemed themselves from what happened a year ago. If they don't win the regional, we're going to get the same exact storyline that they can't handle the postseason and that they get tied or that they get whatever. And that's where we're going with this. That is precisely where this sort of season is going. I mean, we're going to find out no later than Monday night whether this season is going to be deemed a success or not. And if they win and they go to a super regional and things don't work out, the only way I might amend that is if you told me that someone upset Arkansas in the Fayetteville regional and a super regional was here against TCU
or Cal,
and Ole Miss kind of played super duper tight and lost. We might be able to have some sort of a nuanced discussion, but for the most part, this weekend defines the season.
And it's what's so crazy about this whole deal is, and it's why Ole Miss needs to get back to Omaha one more time. It's why it needs to just finish off this little run of really a weird few years. I mean, you look at it, they're 2-6 in the postseason since they got off the plane coming back from Omaha in 2014. And both those wins were last season. They went 0-2 in 2015. They went 0-2 in 2016 at home. They didn't make it in 2017, and they went 2-2 in 2018. And I think that it's not fair to Kessinger and Dillard and Zabowski and Etheridge and all those guys that are in this class. They're carrying their own baggage, and they're also having to deal with, it's not direct. They don't care. Doug Nikhazy, Will Etheridge, they don't care what happened to the program over the years. That's not the point. But just from a overall kind of atmosphere thing, they're carrying a lot of program scar tissue too right now. And I think we talked about it in February. This team's graded on a curve. This is a team that has to get to a regional and has to win it. But it's even about more than themselves, and it shouldn't be. They need to just play loose. But it's Mike's coaching job that he has to pull off here. He has to keep them as loose as possible because you don't want to pile more on them baggage-wise than is already there. And there's this overall just kind of undercurrent that they're carrying so much stuff on their back as they're heading into Friday.
Yeah, it's not fair to the individual kids.
Oh, gosh, no.
Frankly, it's just not. It's
I mean, Will Etheridge had nothing to do with them losing to Utah 6-5 in 2016.
Yeah, and something tells me Doug Nikhazy couldn't begin to tell you.
He couldn't tell you that Ole Miss lost to Utah in 2016, I don't think.
Yeah, he might not be able to tell you they lost last year. He certainly doesn't care. But it is what it is, and it's fans get mad at this comment, but you'll feel it if things get tense in that stadium. It's different. And people say, well, they handled tension in Hoover. Totally different environment. You've been. Totally different environment. It gets, man, there was a palpable tension in that stadium on Monday of that regional weekend last year. It was palpable. I felt it. I went.
So much of it was because of how game one started, because they just got their doors blown off. It
was, and then everybody went, oh, God, so the whole day's going to go bad. The whole day's going to go bad. It's there's it, and I thought it impacted the players. I could be wrong. I don't know. Guys, baseball is a game where if you try too hard, you can make it more difficult than it already is. Mm-hmm. So it's really, we'll talk about it all week long. Bottom line is it's a really important regional and for a lot of reasons. And if they win, I think a lot of people get to exhale some. If they win, I think there's just everyone can calm down a little, because it absolutely erases to a degree what happened a year ago. And I know people will say, well, they would have beaten Texas and they would have gone to Omaha. But you can do that. Any team, any school, any franchise in all of sports, you can do the if this had happened and this had happened and this had happened, what would have happened? If they win the regional this weekend, they redeem themselves. They sort of negate that to a degree, and from that point forward, Ole Miss will be playing with house money.
Yeah. The podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting that understands your market, a leader in condo financing, and the float-down option, so you can lock in the current rate. But if rates go down before you close, you just get the lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE@communitymtg.com.
Guests will join us this week on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law. They specialize in personal injury law, real estate law, but they can really handle anything. If you have a legal need, if you think you have a legal need, if you want to just discuss something that you'd like to discuss with an attorney, but you're not sure that you're ready to pursue it, it's cool. Take advantage of being a podcast listener. Get in touch with John Calvin Patterson or Wes Earhart at PELaws.com, 662-526-1992. Your initial consultation is free. The podcast also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust is based in Madison, Mississippi. It represents clients in more than 20 states. It has advisors in 3 states. I've seen what they do firsthand. They sit down with you individually, as a family, whatnot, and they get all of your information. They look at your level of wealth. They look at your goals, your expenses, your plans, what you want to do with retirement. Everybody's different. Some people want to travel the world. Some people just want to tend to a garden, whatever the case may be. And then they take information and objective research, and they sit down and make a plan that's built just for you. It's Pinnacle Trust, pintrust.com, PINN trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee. The podcast also brought to you by the Westin Jackson. They're the sponsors of my mailbag, which will be up hopefully later today. It might be tomorrow. This has been a weird week with Memorial Day. But when you go to the Westin Jackson, you can check in at Soul Spa. It's the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. And then you can enjoy Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro, sip on a creative craft cocktail, enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's offerings are always fantastic, as is the staff at the Westin Jackson. The podcast, I should say, also brought to you in part by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. So you guys know how this works. You're thinking about a trip, whether it's a group of guys, whether it's a family trip, whether it's a romantic anniversary trip, a honeymoon, whatever the case may be. Get in touch with John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. What you do is you give him a call, you give him some parameters, you give him a budget, let him know kind of what you want to do, what you're thinking about doing, and then sit back, have a cup of coffee, and let John come up with some options for you that you will not come up with on your own. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. It's 901-494-3387 or send him an email at jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
So, I got a couple different things here. You want to go to Will Wade first?
Sure.
Let's talk Will Wade. So, Yahoo, Patrick Forty, he sends in an FOI asking for Will Wade's phone records from the time period in question through all the stuff, through all the Javonte Smart stuff. 13 calls. All it comes back, 13. Been used on that university cell phone. There's no doubt that thing sat in a drawer, died. You charged it up, you called your AD just to ask him what he was having for lunch, and then you turned it back off again, right?
Absolutely. I mean,
I get from a journalism standpoint, this is like all like whatever. I'm laughing my tail off at this. It makes me happy at this point.
It's genius.
Yes.
I mean, he's the biggest jerk in sports.
He is.
Literally. Maybe the biggest jerk in all of college coaching, and that says a lot. I mean, that is a competitive field. But give the guy. I mean, seriously. I mean, there are some really bad people in coaching. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. And this guy used his university-issued phone 13 times.
13.
Do you know how much college basketball and college football coaches are on their phones? I mean, almost. I mean,
what was Freeze? It was 52,000 calls or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the reasons that.
I mean, all jokes aside, it's one of the reasons he missed so many of those calls is because there were so many calls.
Yeah, his eyes glazed over.
Yeah, because Freeze was given his stack of phone records and said, "Hey, if it was a personal call, put a Sharpie through it."
I mean, Will Wade has him a couple of burners, not issued by the university. Therefore, they're technically not FOIA-able.
Right.
And that's where he does his business.
And anyone that has any on that now is like in the bottom of the bayou somewhere.
Oh, yeah, those phones are gone. Those phones are like a Grisham novel. They're history. I mean, you want those phones, you're going to have to kill the alligators and the snakes first.
What's funny about this a little bit is that LSU, I guess to their credit in a way, they just don't care. Just make it go away. We're just trying to win basketball games. Not trying to look clean. Don't give two craps about looking clean.
I think they're in a weird spot because, okay, so if they fire him, right now they don't have cause. I mean, they know, but you have to be able to prove it. And they can't prove it substantively. And they don't want to give him the massive buyout. And so the cat turns around, and literally in the midst of all this, you almost have to respect him for being the gangster that he is. He turns around and goes and gets Trendon Watford out of Mountain Brook, Alabama. Watford, by the way, a five-star player, likely lottery pick sort of player. Really, really liked LSU's School of Engineering. Loved it. Just liked the education that you get in Baton Rouge. Liked the campus a lot. The moss on the trees.
I mean, the PMAC is really nice. It was great in 1987.
It's an incredible facility, and Mike the Tiger is a beautiful animal. And you get to roam and watch him roam, and it's beautiful. I mean, I get it. I get why.
During Wade's press conference yesterday, he gives the quote, "I've come off as a little bit brash, to be honest, and that's my fault." Okay.
What I love is Pat Forty asks questions, and Wade gives him the worst possible answers, and Forty's offended, and this is how to beat the NCAA 101. It's really, he's giving everybody the blueprint.
He should write the textbook.
Yeah, use a burner. Admit nothing. Even when you're caught on a federal wiretap, admit nothing. I mean, it's kind of like the song, "It Wasn't Me," she caught you in the shower, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
All that stuff. I mean, just wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about. I've talked to the LSU people about all of it, and we've covered it. So did you say that? I don't really know what's in the wiretap. I haven't read that. I haven't read the transcript. It's literally been written in every major publication in America. But I've been busy recruiting. You've only made 13 phone calls. Well, I do my recruiting in person. Do you have a burner? I don't know what you're talking about.
Not a phone guy. Just not a phone guy.
Not a phone guy. I like personal interaction. I like this right
I'm
here.
old school. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been a little brash. And that is literally like me saying I've been a little bald. I've been a little brash. And everybody goes, "Oh boy, I bet that room's going to be chilly." It might be. He doesn't care. He's going to go get players again. Because it appears that he ran Joe Oliva off.
I don't know how this works, which is amazing because we've covered so much NCAA things. Does such a low number of phone calls and some of this stuff, is this putting LSU in the crosshairs of lack of institutional control?
Well, let's be real here. The fact that Pat Forty is filing FOIAs and going after LSU this hard tells me that the NCAA is too. Yeah. So, all jokes aside, it is, people say, well, they're going to get away with it. I don't know if any of you noticed, most of you that are listening to this either are interested in Ole Miss or you're a fan of Ole Miss. I don't know if you noticed, but the wheels of justice moved awfully slowly. They're not going to suddenly speed up because it's a different school. The whole LSU is going to walk away from this. We're not there yet. Now they're taking a different approach, but the NCAA is on campus. That's been confirmed. I mean, Ross Dellinger, multiple people have said the NCAA's been involved in this process.
Yeah,
it's why I always said with Ole Miss, when Dan Jones and Lee Tyner and all of those people came up with the full cooperation idea. Why? Yeah, you can let them sit in on the meetings speaking Portuguese. I mean, there's no point in giving them anything. They don't have subpoena power. Now, where this is different is that ultimately that judge, I think it's in New York, he can unseal all this stuff, and the NCAA would have a treasure trove of material in front of them to decide what they wanted to do with it.
I'm still fascinated, but I'm sticking with the fact that I think he's going to survive.
As of today, I generally agree.
It's crazy. But yeah.
Now, it wouldn't take much for his survivability.
No. Absolutely.
Pull one thread here and it could all fall apart.
Yeah.
So I'm not prepared to go, oh yeah, he's definitely going to skate. But he very clearly has the right defense right now, which is, I didn't do anything. You can't prove it. You can FOIA my phone. Here's my phone. I mean, I think he would have taken his university phone and passed it around the room yesterday in Destin. Have a look, everyone.
Nothing on it.
Oh, vanilla.
I'll text my mama and I'll order some pizzas. That's it.
Yeah. We called Pizza Hut. Sure did. Called Pizza Hut. I think it was a Thursday night. Got some pepperoni.
Meat lovers.
Yeah.
Thin crust.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't think there's much. I mean, I so Will, in several years on the job, you've never called a recruit? No, my assistants do that. I meet with the recruits in person. Here's my phone records. I've never called a recruit on my phone. And of course, everyone knows, but you can't prove.
What's the next move? Go into players and recruits and ask them if Wade ever called them?
Yeah. I guess you go to you see if kids will go, and you see if they still have the phone record, see if they still have the number. You call the number, it's going to be a number that's
disconnected,
long gone. And so they'll say that was Will Wade, but you won't be able to prove it. This kid said he talked to you on this date at this number. I don't remember that. I misremember that.
Yeah, he's a great kid. Wish him the best.
Yeah. Who said that? Yeah. I don't know. You know, I don't recall that phone conversation. I bet he's confused with. He is a great player. He got recruited by a lot of people. I bet he's confused some coaches, and that happens.
People confuse me and Calipari all the time. It's probably John.
Yeah, it was probably it was Jay Wright or Bill Self, or it could have been a lot of people. A lot of people. Coach Krzyzewski, who knows? But he's a great kid. He just don't hold it against him that he's misremembering that. I hope he does wonderful with the 76ers. I mean, and you can't. It's silly. It's a joke. That's why everyone. So I mean, my deal right now is so you have two choices as a program. You can say, well, that's the way to do it, and go do it, or you can say we're not going to do it that way. And then let the consequences be what they are.
So from one scumbag coach to another, Art Briles returning to Texas high school football. The former Baylor coach is the new head football coach at 3A Texas Mount Vernon High School. It's about 130 miles east of the Metroplex. Signed a 2-year contract. And did you see this, Jim, from the Star-Telegram this morning, Mr. McCready?
I did. So here's my quick assessment before you read this. And Will Wade's slimy. He's slimy. I don't know that I would call him evil, though.
No. He's not evil. No.
Art Briles?
Evil.
I'm prepared to entertain the prospect that he's evil.
Yeah, completely different dudes.
Yeah, I mean...
Unfair to Wade, frankly, yeah.
Yeah, I could sit down with Will Wade and have a beer.
And we'd laugh and cut up and probably enjoy it, frankly.
Probably have a really good laugh.
Yeah.
I couldn't sit down with Art Briles and have a beer.
He might be one of the 10 people on earth I would not want, like, the most unlikely to want to sit down and have a beer with. Couldn't care less.
But some of these quotes from the coaches in Texas...
Well, okay, yeah, so let's get here. So this is what happened. By the way, Briles currently is in Italy, coaching some sort of football team over there. I think Grisham wrote about that one time. Doing a lot. It
was actually a good book.
Yeah, it was Playing for Pizza was the name of it. I actually read that. Sorry, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram has 7,000 ads on its page. I know we're shocked. So...
Got to make money.
Yeah. Oh, capitalism. So here's what they did. They talked to a bunch of Texas coaches about Art Briles, and nobody cares about this part. I get it. They gave anonymity to all of them. That is not how you use freaking anonymous sources. There is no danger, either occupationally or to their life, for these coaches not to just give an on-record opinion about Art Briles. I mean... I'm blown away by just the lack of ability to understand how this was supposed to be done, even if you cared to do it. This is not how you use anonymous sources. I know nobody cares. It's me. I'm a media nerd. But it drove me insane.
I'm not arguing.
I know.
I mean, I've got nothing to add.
I know. I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling to you.
I know.
All right, so the Star-Telegram reached out to several coaches around the state to get their opinions on the Briles hire, whether it was good for Texas high school football, which, by the way, they abbreviate TXHSFB. Was that really necessary? And whether they would play Mount Vernon in the future. The coaches spoke on the condition of anonymity because, my gosh, let's not give an opinion on a fellow coach. I don't see anything wrong. One said, I find it odd. There were some pretty good jobs still open, meaning he should have gotten a better job. we need to know all the facts. Let the guy coach. If he was in 4A or 5A, bring it. Okay. Having a coach of Art's caliber in high school football is good for football and really good for Mount Vernon. I don't believe it's a bad look in high school football in Texas. I would play Mount Vernon now. It's great for the game. I think it's a good thing. There will be some negativity for a while. Sure, I'd play them. We may never know what happened for sure in Waco. Okay, thanks. I personally believe he was made to be a scapegoat to an extent. Did he make mistakes? Absolutely. Do I think he should be shunned from the game for life? No. And then here's my favorite. Honestly, from what I read and understand, he was railroaded. He was part of a much larger problem, and he reported it to his superiors. Is it tragic? Of course, on multiple levels. Doesn't take much guts to say that sexual abuse is horrific. Anyone with a soul would agree, but to brand a guy for life with the tag might not be fair. Yes, I'd play them, and let's see what he does for the young people of that community.
Could I have another cup of the tone deafness on just whenever you're ready? Unbelievable. He covered up, actively covered up, a culture of rape. I hate the word sexual assault. It's rape.
Okay, here's my deal, too. There's no way that every coach they talked to had everything positive to say. They didn't run the negative ones.
No. I agree. And here's the thing. You grant someone anonymity.
To say truth.
There's no way that I'm guessing.
Well, because forget Art Briles, even somebody who does have skeletons and this type of negative reputation. If I gave 25 people speaking on anonymity, I couldn't find a person that everyone would say something positive about. Every single person I ask about would have something negative. Something.
Yeah. Yes. This is a puff piece. This is somebody with this. I don't know. If I'm the editor, and again, this is newspapers. That's the problem, is that the layers are not in place when newspapers were, quote, great, end quote. I'm saying, wait, you're telling me that you got 100% positive feedback? How many people did we talk to? Can I see? I'd have to see the transcripts. I might have to hear them. You're telling me that you talked to 15 people and everyone was positive? No one mentioned the culture of rape?
Yeah. I'm going to nominate that for the crap take of the day.
That's fine. I'm with that.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and tell you that the crap take of the day is brought to you by Scoopers Pet Waste Removal, LLC. Everyone loves their pets, but no one loves stepping in their pets' leftovers, if you will, and tracking those leftovers into your house is a nightmare. Scoopers will go into your backyard, apartment complex, or condominium and pick up what no one really wants to pick up. For $10 a cleaning, Scoopers will clean up your yard, and they'll do it on your schedule, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, or a one-time service. No contracts are required, and you can cancel at any time. If you have multiple dogs, it's just $2 for each additional dog. So if you own a home, a condo, or an apartment complex in Oxford, and you'd like to deal with a lot less crap, call Scoopers at 662-506-2754, or simply send them an email, scoopers.oxfordpetwaste@gmail.com, to get your cleanings scheduled today. Scoopers Pet Waste Removal, they're number one and your pet's number two business.
I will tell you also that if I keep reading stuff like that, I'm going to need some CBD oil. You can get that at G&M Pharmacy there on South Lamar in Oxford. It's FDA approved. It's illegal in all 50 states. There's no crazy side effects. And when you get it from G&M, you know that it ensures product consistency, purity, and potency. That is not true with all of the brands, especially the ones that can be ordered online. So get it local, 662-236-2222. You can transfer all your medications over. They can take care of you with all your pharmaceutical needs. Again, that is G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar, 662-236-2222. The podcast is also brought to you by Master Cuts Lawn and Landscape. By now, you know, Master Cuts provides premium lawn care throughout northern Mississippi, but you know they offer a lot more as well, from custom playgrounds, retaining walls, pool decks, outdoor living spaces, paver patios, forestry mulching, and more. The path to your dream backyard, easier than you think. Go mastercuts.com. You get a free quote that way, or you get a free quote by giving them a call at 662-607-7773.
7 South Tailgating offers packages for any budget, any party size, any number of games needed. Whether you're coming to one game in the fall, all 7, or somewhere in between, they can build a tailgating package to suit your needs and your budget. If you prefer to use your own personal tailgating gear, they will store, maintain, clean, and repair that gear as needed throughout the season. If you prefer to rent some or all of your gear from 7 South, they offer many colors, types, and sizes to choose from. Call or go online today for a detailed quote customized to your specific needs at 662-321-1682 or visit 7southtailgating.com. Podcast also brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans. If you're coming into town this weekend for the regional, Blue Delta is going to be open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Their store right there on the square in Oxford. They're closed on Sunday, but if you want to get fitted on Sunday, you can make that happen. How? Well, you send an email, info@bluedeltajeans.com, info@bluedeltajeans.com to schedule a fitting. Blue Delta is going to be in Tampa on Thursday at the trying to find all the details. Hyde Park Village from 7 to 9 p.m. That's 800 South Village Circle in Tampa. To RSVP, you can send an email to Hannah, that's HANNAH, at bluedeltajeans.com and schedule your custom fit appointment.
I just noticed that you and I at least got some paddock. I was reading the message board thread about all the chicken salad the guy bought yesterday. Did you see this?
No, I did follow the thread a little bit, but I haven't seen the latest.
So for those of you who have not subscribed to rebelgrove.com, you should. It's very cheap, less than, frankly, a chicken salad lunch for most places in town. A guy asked where the best chicken salad was yesterday, and then yesterday afternoon, went and bought 3 different ones, tried them all on the same type of bread to keep everything consistent, and then wrote about a 1,000-word review on chicken salad on the message board.
Ooh.
Community, that's what we get.
That's what you get.
It might be a top 5 food that I just can't eat. It's the mayonnaise.
Yeah, I say this to people. I literally, if given the choice between starving for the day or having a chicken salad sandwich, it would be an absolute no-brainer. I'd starve.
If I told you that you got something really, really good, I don't know what it was, I'd have to figure it out. But that for 1 month, every day for lunch, your lunch had to be banana and mayonnaise sandwiches.
I'll just take the bad.
Would you really?
Yeah.
You couldn't eat 30 banana and mayonnaise sandwiches over the course of a month to get whatever it is.
Nope. No, there's nothing that good. There's nothing that would entice me to do that. Nope.
Okay.
I mean, it would literally have to be my children's lives hanging in the balance.
No amount of sports world championships or anything along those lines?
Oh, hell no.
Okay. So if you had to have one or the other, a banana sandwich or a mayonnaise sandwich?
Would you rather get bit by a rattlesnake or a cobra?
No, but really, which one would you rather eat?
I guess the banana.
Okay.
Mayonnaise is just the thought of it.
It's just a sauce.
Yeah, but you can't get it out of your mouth.
It's not a texture thing. Or is it a texture thing? I mean, do you like avocado?
Not a lot. It's okay. I'm okay with it. I prefer it as a guacamole than I do
just straight avocado.
Sliced avocados doesn't do much for me. It's okay.
Okay.
I'm not grossed out by it or anything, but if it's on the buffet line, at like South Depot or Moe's or something, I don't get avocado.
What do you put on your burrito at one of those places?
Now I just get the bowl.
Okay. Well, either way, what goes in it?
Black beans, typically chicken,
Okay.
pico,
Okay.
jalapeno, cilantro.
Okay.
That's about it.
That's about it.
Yep.
Okay.
What about you?
Lettuce.
Oh yeah, I get lettuce too.
Lettuce, black beans, not any other kind of bean. It's got to be a black bean. Rice, onion, cilantro, salsa verde. I'll do steak or chicken. I'm fine with either. I don't care.
Yeah.
Frankly, any protein for the most part, I'm fine with. I mean, if you want to throw something else on there too, it's all right. And it doesn't. That's what's funny too. It doesn't change my other ingredients. So if I get pork or steak or chicken, I'm still putting the exact same thing on the burrito either way.
Yeah.
Which is probably a little weird. I would think most people probably doctor theirs up differently depending on what the protein is.
I mean, I miss the queso. Like I miss the queso because I normally would put queso on a burrito.
See, I don't like the queso on the burrito. It's too messy and just no thanks.
But I can't have that anymore. So
Well, you can technically.
I guess I technically could, but
You're not prohibited. There's not a big sign up in South Depot that goes McCready and queso, no go.
that's true.
So I did kind of laugh a little bit. And now, look, Jacksonville State's a really good team. Their coach, Jim Case, yesterday, he was talking about that an OVC team did win the Oxford Regional in Tennessee Tech last year. And he said one of the neat things, Tech goes there and wins the regional last year. That opened doors to your thought process. We know we'll have to play well, but it can happen. And he's exactly right. That's exactly what he should talk about with his team. That is the motivating factor for them. As long as they don't bring those bats, the little OVC patch on the uniform is not the same thing. Nobody is hitting like that Tennessee Tech team. And frankly, it's one of the ways Ole Miss got a little fortunate with this draw, not just on the teams overall, but there's no prolific offense here. I think Jacksonville State only has 2 guys over 300. Illinois or Clemson, one of them only has 1. I think the other one's got 2 or 3. This is not a regional where there's some team that, on paper at least, is going to bludgeon their way through this thing with offense. And, you know, usually that's how worse teams kind of have chances in regionals, is that they kind of overcome their lack of pitching depth. But the way this thing has drawn with no real great offense in this regional, Ole Miss has the best offense in this regional. It's just another kind of feather in the Rebels' cap to try to get through this thing, because the teams are not built to withstand long tournaments from a pitching standpoint.
Right. That Tennessee Tech team, man, they could hit.
Yeah, they could mash. I mean, they had like 8 or 9 draft picks.
Yeah, they had some guys that were drafted fairly early too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the part of that story that doesn't get told, and perhaps it's some of our fault. Ole Miss should have absolutely won the regional, but that wasn't chopped liver at Tennessee Tech. They were good, and they could mash.
But it wasn't offense that beat Ole Miss. It was their own offense not winning the game.
It was.
I mean, they got beat like 3-2.
It was what appeared to be some really tight approaches at the plate.
The entire season, and you can't put it on one at bat, but if there was one at bat that changed it, it was that one out at bat with like the bases loaded in the 7th inning or whatever it was. Didn't get the runner home from third, and it just sort of nosedived from there.
I would agree with that. It felt like that was an opportunity to kind of.
Because Kessinger picked him up. You know, he hit the early home run and got him up. And it was like, okay. And then Tennessee Tech kind of made a little run there, and they just couldn't. They couldn't find that counter punch.
Yeah, had some chances and then didn't get it, and then. Yeah.
You know, we talked about it pre-fight. Did you see Wilder's knockout last week?
Yeah, I watched it a couple of times,
Dude.
and I needed to put that away. In all seriousness, I don't know how. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here. I don't know how the guy got up. I mean, the guy got up from that. I mean, they mercifully stopped it. It had to be stopped. But the guy was trying to get up. I don't know how. The opposite ear moved.
Hang on, what?
When he hit him, watch the slow motion of his other ear.
Really?
Yes, the opposite ear moves. So imagine the force that went through his skull, what it did to his brain.
I didn't see this. Or didn't notice this.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I watched it a couple times and it freaked me out.
It did. I still say he was just born in the wrong era. He'd been so much fun back in the day.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, just
one generation earlier, and he's a superstar.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
He's a great fighter, but people don't like that stuff. It's a very niche fringe sport now. I mean, there's people who love it. I get it, but it's not mainstream like it used to be.
Have we talked about this? Have you seen? Maybe we did. Speaking of boxing, real quick, I think Barstool did it originally. The slapping tournaments in Russia.
We haven't talked about it. I've seen the video.
Have you seen this?
Yeah, and the one kid just gets knocked silly.
Is that a slap or is that just an open hand punch though? I mean, I get it's still a slap, but there's a whole lot more force and technique behind that big mountain of a man doing it than all the other dudes that do it during the course of that video.
Yeah, no, he's
the king.
It's an open-handed punch.
Yeah.
But I guess because it's open-handed, it's a slap.
But for a slap, don't your fingers have to hit first, right? Or at least I mean, I don't know the rules here, but you know what I mean? Like, it almost seems like he's hitting more with almost the pad of his palm.
You know, I've tried to not become an aficionado in slapping or being slapped, so okay. I don't really know the rules.
Okay. It's so funny in its absurdity because you've got this video. Anybody watching it, you can go find it anywhere. It's been all over the place if anybody's not following us here. But you've got all these people around watching two people or a bunch of people. It's the slapping version of the arm wrestling tournament and Over the Top. It's kind of the setup of this. It's just two people coming up and then going back down and whatever. And there's a CrossFit tournament going on behind it. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, behind it, it's all these people doing CrossFit everywhere. Yet over here on this stage, it's just two dudes, and there's one dude, he's got a beard too, which should be illegal, because that's padding. Him getting slapped, there's resistance there.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
The beard is an advantage for that dude. But everybody else is just kind of hitting, and it's like, all right, and then this dude is unloading haymakers.
Oh, yeah, he's destroying people.
I mean, I don't know. If you're in the tournament and you're actually doing this, you deserve to be laughed at. So I do not feel bad laughing at these idiots. Just saying.
No, I mean that's asking for it.
Yeah.
Had to hurt. I mean, had to really hurt.
Whatever.
I guess you can't break a bone slapping someone.
You can't?
I don't know. It's not my field of expertise.
Hadn't been slapped in a while, you're saying?
It's been a while.
Has it?
High school.
You got slapped in high school?
Yeah, but by my mom.
Oh. What?
Yeah, she was mad at me about a grade.
And you got slapped?
Yeah, I probably said something bad. There's no telling. I probably deserved it.
Can I ask her this story? Will she tell it?
She was probably mad at me for saying it.
You think so?
Probably.
She doesn't listen to the pod every day, does she?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know that I've ever been slapped by a girl or anything. I don't think I have.
Okay.
Have you?
I've got one story I can't tell.
Okay.
I just can't. Some people know it, and they're probably laughing right now because they know what I would be talking about. But yeah, no, sorry, can't.
Yeah. No,
yes, there's been an occasion. Let's say that, Mr. McCready. There's been an occasion. But no, it's been a while. Yeah, like not last week or anything. So anyway.
I'll tell you real quick that this podcast is also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Go in, test drive one today. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Podcast also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market better than Harry. Harry's a big part of Savannah Square. It's a new 9-acre development, 0.7 of a mile from the Oxford downtown square. It consists of 32 standalone detached structures, ranging in size from about 1,100 square feet to about 2,400 square feet. The model home available for your inspection at 215 William Street. All you have to do if you're coming up for the regional this weekend and you get a little hankering to think about moving to Oxford, making Oxford a retirement home, a second home, whatnot, get in touch with Harry, 662-801-5621. He's with RE/MAX Legacy Realty, and check out SavannahSquareOxford.com. And the podcast brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. Also, OUB gives you a commercial checking account, now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. It comes with fully online interactive banking, and they can set up any business to deposit checks from their office and not have to worry about coming to the bank daily to deposit those checks. To learn more about that commercial checking account or OUB in general, go to liveoxford.bankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured.
What's the predictions for the NBA Finals? What you got?
I actually think it's going to be a really good series. I think the Warriors win, but I think it goes 6 or 7 games.
What is Durant's status?
He limped onto the plane yesterday to fly to Toronto. He's not playing game 1. They've ruled him out for game 1. My guess is they're trying to get him back for game 3. But listen, Kevin Durant in this series needs to be healthy because otherwise Kawhi Leonard will shut you down. So that's the problem the Warriors have, is that Kawhi is such a good defender, and the Warriors have, between Marc Gasol and Pascal Siakam and Serge Ibaka, they've got a collection of bodies that they can throw at a Draymond Green, that they can put on a limping Kevin Durant if he's not effective, and they can put Kawhi on Klay Thompson and kind of change the series. Kyle Lowry's played well. It's got a chance to be intriguing. Golden State's been just so deadly since Durant went down, frankly, that it's hard to imagine them losing 4 games.
I'm going to watch a little. I'm intrigued. I find Toronto is a really good story for whatever reason.
Oh, they definitely are. It's a great fan base. I can't imagine the atmosphere tomorrow night if you were there in Toronto. They've got some really likable players. I'm happy for Kyle Lowry. I'm happy for Serge Ibaka to get another chance at the NBA Finals. It's been, for him, 7 years when he was with the Thunder and they made the Finals. Kawhi's a big time player. He's won a title before. This won't be an overwhelming moment for him. Danny Green won a title before. This won't be an overwhelming moment for him. Happy for Marc Gasol after all those years in Memphis where the Grizzlies got close and couldn't get over the hump. Now he gets to play in an NBA Finals. I don't think Toronto can score with them. But it's interesting. They can really defend. So we'll see. The people who say that there's no defense in the NBA, you're going to watch 2 teams who are sneaky good on defense.
We're still pretty early in the season, but a 2-team race developing in the NL Central. Have they pulled you back in yet?
Not really.
Half game up on the Brewers.
Yeah. I know that I went to the gym last night and ran for an hour, and I did turn it on my phone, and I watched some of their game with Houston, and, man, the ball jumped out of that park. But not really. I'm just not all that engaged in it this year, almost to the point of it being like something's wrong with me. I mean, I watched and it's fine. But I didn't get like when I watched from about the 5th inning through about the 8th inning, and the Cubs tied it up 6-6, and I didn't get particularly excited. And then Bregman hit a 2-run homer to basically win the game for Houston, and I really didn't care. Finished my run, got out. I don't know, something's clinically wrong with me, perhaps.
It's an interesting deal because pennant races are what draw some people in right there at the end prior to the playoffs, even though the college football season's already going. And the MLB is a really good playoff deal. But, again, I get it's just May 29th and so many things happening, but you can make the argument that 1, 2, 3 divisions completely over already. And then another 3 are just down to 2 teams. There's potentially not much pennant race going to be going on other than if you really care about the wild card race here. Because the Twins are already 10 up in the AL Central.
They're a phenomenal story, and no one tells it. No one. I bet the mainstream people couldn't name a Twin.
No, I agree with you. They're 10 up on the Indians. The Astros are 7.5 up on the Athletics. They're going to walk away with it.
Yeah.
And then the Dodgers are 7 up on the Padres, of all people.
Yeah.
You got Cubs, Brewers. You got Phillies, Braves. And then you've got Rays, Yankees. That's it. That's all you got. And the Rays are a good story.
The Rays are a good story. Did you see their attendance last night?
Yeah, 5,000.
Yeah. Did you see there's a picture of the first pitch of the White Sox game?
Yeah, the girl who hit the cameraman.
Yeah. Did you notice the crowd? There's nobody there.
Oh, no, I didn't notice the crowd, though.
There's no one there. That's the fascinating thing about baseball. Baseball talks about expanding. And I know this is not easy to do because Carson and I had this conversation, and it was almost impossible to explain to him how hard it is to relocate a franchise. But if it's not working in Tampa, in the south side of Chicago, and it's not working. If it's not working in those places, don't you think about trying to figure out a way to relocate before you expand?
Yeah, move them to Montreal or Vegas or wherever.
Yeah, I mean, there are 5 obvious places that would support baseball better than 3 or 4 of the current markets. Las Vegas, Montreal, Mexico City, Nashville, and Portland.
Nashville and Portland have AAA teams. Las Vegas is a AAA team.
Yeah, you can't tell me that Nashville, with all of its tourists and all of the people that are moving there, you can't tell me that Nashville couldn't support a team.
No, I can tell you that a lot of other teams around them in that region would be very pissed off about it.
Yeah, Cincinnati would be upset. Atlanta would probably be upset.
Yeah. That's what I would tell you.
But it doesn't change my opinion that it would work there. I think it would absolutely work there. Hockey has worked there. Football has worked there. I think it would work there. I think the NBA would work there.
Yeah. It's interesting. But yeah, I scrolled across the standings this morning and went, wow, there's just not, for this early in the year, there's so much separation. There's not much left.
It's just remarkable to me, and look, I like baseball. I'll turn it on, but it's remarkable to me that as we're past Memorial Day, which is the big first checkpoint, there's just no interest in it. It has no national appeal at all. Like we're about to have the NBA Finals, followed by the NBA Draft, followed by NBA free agency, followed by the start of the college football season with all the media days stuff, followed by the start of NFL, I should say, training camps, and all of the storylines that go with NFL training camps. And then you get into, I mean, there's just, it's weird. I don't know. It's amazing how much momentum that sport seems to have lost.
Yeah. We'll have more coverage at rebelgrove.com. Start some opponent looks today, or potential opponent looks. Obviously, Jacksonville State story of yesterday. Illinois is going to be the focus to today at rebelgrove.com. And leading up to Friday night, Ole Miss and Jacksonville State, 7 o'clock from Swayze Field. Media day is tomorrow, I would assume. I haven't gotten that email, but I'm sure it always is. So it will be again this time as well. So plenty of coverage leading up to Friday. And we'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the podcast.